So I'm gonna read Blue Beetle number 2. So this is a Charlton comics. So Blue Beetle revealed at last the secrets and mystery that surrounds the origin of the new Blue Beetle and the fate of the old Blue Beetle. So the old Blue Beetle is Dan Garrett plus the question. We're not gonna read the question story. The Blue Beetle, plotted plus drawn by Steve Ditko, script by D. Glansman, lettered by a machine. The end is a beginning. So there's some cool artwork of Blue Beetle. Early evening, a frequent visitor to Ted Cord's lab puts in still another appearance. Cord, if it takes me a lifetime, I'll find out what happened to you and Dan Garrett on Pago Island. I'm busy, Lieutenant Fisher. My assistant hasn't been in all day, and I've nothing to tell you, so if you'll excuse me. I'm glad he's gone at last. I've had it for today. I need a change of pace. And becoming the Blue Beetle is just what the doctor ordered. 2 hours later, haven't picked up anything worth investigating. I'll turn off the antenna and take a joyride before calling it a night. Pago Island. If only that barren rock would sink into the sea before the secrets of it holds leak out. A light. But who? Anyone prowling here has to be up to no good. What if it's my I better stop building fears and see who it is. I can't make him out. It's too dark. I have to get closer. Great Scott! Of all the people, it's Tracy! What are you doing here? Oh, the Blue Beetle. Please, I'm desperate. You must help me. Help you? What can I do for you? Help me to find something. I've been here all day searching all over this island. Ted Cord, the man I love, is under suspicion of killing a man here. I don't believe it, and I'm trying to find evidence that will help prove his innocence. Even before this, he was under some great strain. He wouldn't tell me what. I can't do anything while Ted is being hounded. And I thought by my silence would spare her unnecessary worry. Click. I don't know what to do or who to turn to, but I must help Ted somehow. Somehow, sob. Tracy. How did you know my name? Ted! You're the Blue Beetle. Yes. I couldn't keep it a secret from you any longer. Not after what you just said and tried to do for me. I'll tell you everything, Tracy, if you really want to know. Oh, yes, I can face the truth, Ted, whatever it is. It all started when I began helping my Uncle Jarvis with his experiments. You remember he insisted I work at his place, and you look after my lab. Yes, he got annoyed when I called you about anything. He gave me parts of experiments so I never knew what I was working on, but he was always so secretive about himself and his work. Very good, Ted. Now you can stabilize his reaction. What's this for, Uncle Jarvis? I'll tell you, Ted, later. I promise you. I couldn't do it without you. This is excellent, Ted. Thanks, I'm glad I can help you. Do you think your father will approve? You know, we never got along. Whatever your differences, I'm sure Dad would never make an issue of it with me. Have you heard from him since he left on his expedition? No, but I haven't given up hope. He'll contact me yet. Let's get on with your tests. I want to check your latest results. I wonder why Dad never trusted Uncle Jarvis. I doubt if it's because of his wild theories. It never occurred to me that then that I might be working on something evil. But why should it, with Uncle Jarvis, be pleased with every new job I did for him? Then, late one evening, who's with you, Uncle? With me? No one. I must have been talking to myself. How's the latest test progressing? Remarkable. The solution now is the perfect consistency. Uncle, when are you going to tell me what I'm working on? All right, Ted. Tomorrow I'll tell you everything. Now go home. I want you to examine these latest results. Okay, Uncle. See you in the morning. I left thrilled, but still unable to guess at what wonderful project I had helped give to the world. It could be so many things. The explosion snapped my reverie. It's from the lab! Even before I reached the lab, I knew it was no use. No one could have survived that blast. The body is burned beyond recognition, but it has to be on my uncle. He was the only one up here. Sorry, lad. After the fireman left, that box isn't burned. Some spilled chemicals must have protected it. It contains a map, with Pago Island marked off, a bunch of indecipherable notes, and an old roll of film. An icy chill ran through me as I ran the film. It's the result of an old experiment. That's what I was working on. No wonder Uncle Jarvis kept me in the dark. Then I was overcome by suspicions. Good Lord, what if Uncle Jarvis is still alive? I gave him this final solution to all his operational problems. There'd be no stopping him. What have I done? At the time, I thought your uneasiness was over your uncle's death. I didn't know what to do. Who would believe me? I was frantic. In desperation, I turned to Dan Garrett. I had known him in college, and he had a reputation for being level-headed and trustworthy. The robot was built 8 years ago. Notice the strength. Incredible, it bent that iron bar with ease. It's a powerhouse, but awkward and slow, much too vulnerable. Try to imagine a newer model, one streamlined and strengthened. What could stop 10 of them, 100, 1,000? They'd be unbeatable, but it's not so easy to overcome the scientific difficulties involved in building such an improved robot. I already have. My uncle can now improve his models. Even now he's working on them in secret. But your Uncle Jarvis is dead. No, I think not. I'm sure he's somewhere on Pago Island, but the authorities would never believe me. And you think with my archaeological know-how, or knowledge, I can locate his workshop? I better go alone. Ted doesn't know I'm the Blue Beetle, and if he's right, BB is going to have his hands full. Okay, Ted, I'll go, and we'll go. I didn't know who you drove off with that day, but I had followed your growing tenseness with alarm. No wonder you became suspicious of me when I made it appear that I was here on Pago alone. No sooner had Dan and I landed when... They're advanced models, but they're not attacking. They made us prisoners. I better learn the extent of this before I call on the Blue Beetle. My uncle didn't waste any time using my discoveries. If it is Uncle Jarvis behind this... In a deep cave, my question was answered. Uncle Jarvis! This time you were too clever for your own good, Ted. All this took years to build. I used the labor of my crude robots and the help of some associates that I have since disposed of. But it was you who gave me the real keys to seek the power, to the power I seek. That's why your father despises me. He knows power is all that matters to me. Now, thanks to you, I have the means of getting and holding that power. Do you know what it feels like to have within your grasp the means to control a world, a universe? Foreign interests have supplied me with funds and equipment. They hope to share in or steal my secrets. When you solved all my technical problems, I faked my death so I could work on the final phases unhampered by anything or anyone. When the time comes, I'll strike swiftly and rise to absolute power and rule alone. You're insane. You'll never succeed. Oh no? Look there. Utilizing your formulas and its solutions, I'm creating an army of super androids. An army to program to my will. Whatever they wish, they will do. You made them invincible, Ted. They can withstand any attempt to destroy them. Acid, fire, explosives. What can oppose them? What a terrible price the world will pay because of my blind faith in you. You two are of no use to me. Your efforts are in the robot that holds you, Ted. It will be like dying by your own hand. Crush them. Dan, what can I say for getting you into this? Ugh. Don't blame yourself, Ted. I should have handled this a different way. We're goners. unless I can change to the Blue Beetle immediately. What? Dan, you're the Blue Beetle? Looks like this is the day for big discoveries. Don't worry about me. Get my uncle at all costs. Right, find a hole and hide. He mustn't be allowed to ruin my plans. I'll stop him. Let him handle them all at once. Where did he? Oh, too late. We're surrounded. I have to fight my way through. My uncle must be stopped. There are too many of them. We'll have to find another way out. Hold them off. I'll try to break through one of the sealed exits. I'll stop the Blue Beetle, even if it means destroying those robots. I'll activate the elector and send an overload blast through the robots. Watch out, Dan. He's overloading the robots. Get down, I'll... His warning was too late. There was nothing anyone could do to stop or reverse that deadly charge once it was activated. There must have been a feedback because an explosion also came from Uncle Jervis's room. He couldn't fake that. He's dead this time. Dan, I'm okay. How about you? I'm afraid I've had it. Ted, you must keep my secret. Promise me you'll carry on. For the Blue Beetle. You can do it. Promise me. How can I refuse? I'm as much to blame as my uncle for this. I promise, Dan. Before I could say another word. What? The floor and the ceiling are collapsing. I'll be separated from Dan. Dan! Dan! It's no use. I'm blocked off from him. Oh, Ted, what a burden you've been carrying. But you mustn't keep blaming yourself. I don't anymore. I know that now, like Dan did, the risks of being Blue Beetle. I found an opening that led into a cave. I could be trapped down here. As I stumbled outside, the cave collapsed. It was raining, and I slipped and rolled down a slope. I don't know how long I lay there. My mind was whirling in a turmoil. I promise, Dan, I promise. Hey, that must be the guy from the wrecked boat. I had to make up some story for them. I know it looked suspicious to the police. Fishermen had heard the explosions, but the cave in the ring covered all the tales of it up. All right, Cord, if that's all you can remember after falling off your boat. They don't believe me. There'll be an investigation. All I can do is sweat it out and pray they don't turn up anything. Now the police are trying to prove you did away with Dan, and they won't give up. I know, and Pago Island must keep it secret for all time. I didn't know how to go about keeping my promise to Dan. How about becoming the Blue Beetle? Then one day in my dad's workshop, before he left, he said I could use anything I wanted from his old experiments. If I took that section and added a head, I think I've got it. Slowly, the germ of an idea grew, and inch by inch, my concept of the new Beetle began to take solid shape. And so, after months of labor, hours of testing and practice with my equipment, and a crash physical training program, my promise to Dan Garrett reached fulfillment. I emerged as the Blue Beetle. That's a big splash of Blue Beetle. So it says secret weapon, exit under sea, hidden lock, fingertip controls, the bug movable seat, equipment, laboratory supplies, mask has hidden lock, only fingers, tip control can unlock it, secret fingertip control, and signed by Steve Ditko. Yeah, it's a big spread thing. But what? Great Scots, those robots are still active, and they were programmed to destroy. Run, Tracy, run. If we can get aboard the bug, I can use it on them. I had a feeling I hadn't seen the last of my uncle's androids. No question now. Just grab the handle, hold on tight no matter what. I'll have to stay behind and use my insignia control to lift her. Once Tracy's inside, I can't risk maneuvering the bug. She could accidentally bump a button and foul up the controls. So I'm on my own against... If the explosions in the cave-in hasn't affected them, what can I do to stop them? I better think of a way, fast. The thoughts of these things running around loose has been a nightmare. I dread to think what would happen if they ever got off this island. Oh, my worries will be all over if I don't concentrate on here and now. Number one, maybe I can bash him against his buddy. They're not giving me a second to catch my breath. It's getting harder to slip away from them. Oh, Ted, he's tiring. How long can he stand up to them? Oof, I'm backed into a dead end. Wait, the crevice, that's the answer. First, I'll have to maneuver them into position. While one is out of my hair, I can send the other on its way, and I hope it's a long drop to the bottom. Oops, got too close to this one. I can't duck its blows. Ugh. Things are beginning to get fuzzy. Gotta rally myself, shake it off. Roll, duck, move, think. My head is clearing. Here it comes, this is it. Oh no, Ted doesn't have a chance. There, he's off balance, but I can't let him fall on top of me. Now the trick to keep him off balance. So up and over you go. Won't you ever quit? It's still trying to clobber me. Now, how would you like to join your buddy? Even as the robot is being shoved into the crevice, its wildly swinging fists finds a target. Oh no, Ted, he's falling! If I've just got to hold, if I can just hang on. Woo, that was close. Now to bring down the bug, I better not forget to pick up my mask. Ted, are you alright? A little shook up, but no permanent damage. You're strapped in, but hold on anyway. There's something I must do right away. I have to fill all the crevices and the holes that the androids came out of. You're right, Ted. Pago Island must be made to keep its secrets. And now that you know I'm the Blue Beetle, to me you were a hero long before you put on that costume, Ted. I understand everything now. I can't fight beside the Blue Beetle, Ted, but whatever happens to you from now on, I want to face it with you. All right, Tracy, but let's hope it will never be the threat of Pago Island again. But in the caves underneath Pago Island, all is not still. From time to time a light flashes. A switch clicks, a spark flutters, the super android's hand twitches, and the process becomes even more regular. No one can say when, but sometime in the future the menace of Pago Island will rise again. Of that you can be certain. So next issue, a new threat, more thrills, more surprises, or a few surprises, and well, why not see for yourself? So that's the end of that comic. Hope you guys liked this video. If you could like, comment, or subscribe, that would be appreciated. Thank you. And I'll see you guys later.